All right, coming to you live from Apopka, Florida. This is the N-Bar Show. It has been a long time since I've even thought about doing a live podcast, but as I'm sharing this on my Facebook page, I just want to take some time to just thank you, the listeners, for pressing play as I pace back and forth outside. But that's the luxury of having Spreaker Studio app on your phone. You do a podcast anywhere, everywhere. And I just hope that everyone is having a blessed summer so far, but I'm going to jump right into it as like I said, I'm posting this on Facebook. Struggles of life. I'm not going to sit here and be, your mentor or someone that's going to try to really pick you up, because deep down that has to be you at the end of the day. I've had to pick myself up so many times. I can't even explain how many times, but I have a short amount of time on this podcast, so I won't get into me too much. No matter what happens, we are all going to face struggling times. It's not going to always be when we're young, didn't have responsibilities. Even in those times, we went through struggling times, figuring out ourselves, figuring out what our likes, our dislikes. But there's so many people in the world today, they have no conscience. They're easily manipulated by family. They're either easily just dawned, depressed. No one to blame but themselves. Am I right? I mean, it took me a long time to really realize that. And forgive me for the crickets in the background. It is getting a little later here in Central Florida. But what I've come to realize, no matter what you go through, you're all you got. You're all you got. You're the only one that can self-talk yourself into a negative situation or into a positive situation. And I've done both. I've let people down. People have let me down. I gossiped. People gossiped about me. But as I get older, almost turning 30, it's irrelevant. It's happening everywhere, and we accept it. The one thing I try to do is not get into too many arguments. Now, I know people that really know me will say, well, he's a hothead, he's a temperhead. Yeah, that's because I'm passionate about everything that I do. It doesn't matter if I'm in a winning situation or a losing situation. I always know that I will find my way out. I will find my way to happiness. Because as long as you have that mindset, you'll find happiness. But you're going to go through some struggles first. You're going to go through maybe a parent not really accepting your dreams of what you want to be in this life. Sometimes you'll have a brother that, that is not so much of a brother. And I've been there. I've been a terrible friend. I've been a terrible brother. I've been a terrible son. But I don't let myself get down too depressed in those thoughts that I have. Because sometimes the mind reminds you of what you've done wrong. You really have. And we've all sinned. We've all fallen short of God's standards. No one's perfect. If we were all perfect, things wouldn't even make sense. We wouldn't know how to achieve our goals. We wouldn't know how to never give up, because everything has already been given to us. Now, in a sense, everything has been given to us, but it's not necessarily right to your mouth or right to your hand. you can only take one thing from what I'm recording tonight. You're going to go through struggles. That's something that we already all know, right? But another thing I want to talk about that is really bothering me, and something that I've never really understood. Now, I know that we all have our preference, we have our comfort level, and the way we've been raised, the way we've been, somewhat brainwashed. But I just never understood racism. I could never understand it. Growing up as a kid, I'd had black friends, Hispanic friends, Mexican friends, white friends. And even as I grew older and moved a lot, I met all kinds of nationalities. It's not something that is in my heart. I can't judge you by the color of your skin. I can judge you by your actions, though. I can judge you by your personality. We all have our opinions of what we want to be around. There's a lot of negative people in life, maybe even in your family. And sometimes we just don't get it. We don't get how somebody would want to start a family and not show love constantly. I'm not just saying unconditional love. I'm talking about constant love. And one thing is, the other L word is L. The other L word is loyalty. We all want royalty instead of loyalty. We all want fancy things. We all want to have the best designer clothes, that Coach's purse, or even watch nowadays, or the belt, Gucci belts, this and that. Those are all material things. Those are all material things. As I'm 8 minutes into this, I'm struggling. But you know what? I'm not going to let this world, or let my ex, or let anyone tear my faith away. The moment you do that, and you lose your faith in Jesus, and you lose your faith in humanity, because you watch everything that news anchor says, you believe. Everything you see on social media, you believe. Or it finds a way to get into your perspective. It finds a way to get into your intelligence. It finds a way to get in your patterns. We're all creatures of habit. We all have patterns in our minds, things that attract us, things that distract us, things that help us, some things that don't help us. We all need to come together, people. It doesn't matter the skin of your color. The color of your skin. See, I got that backwards. Vice versa. See, I told you it's been a long time since I've done a podcast. And no, I'm not high. No, I'm not drunk. And this is something that we all need to talk about, though. This is something that a lot of people like to make jokes about. A lot of people like to think that their opinion overrules everyone's opinion. Now, I'm still learning in this life, just like you listening. I'm no better than you. But what I do have that maybe you don't have is the courage to communicate. The courage to seek truth. I'm nowhere near as perfect. God knows it. That's why I need him every day. And some days I only pray for 30 seconds. And that's the only prayer I get in that day, because I'm so distracted by my struggle of not being able to see my son. The struggle of not being able to be that spouse. One thing is a little bit about me. I know I said I wouldn't get too much into me, but Fatherhood, I love it. That's why I want to be more and more a part of my son's life. But the relationship part, I struggle with. And it's not because I don't love myself. I fall in love with their flaws. I fall in love with their misfortunes. A lot of females that I've encountered with or actually really had a deep connection with, they have some serious problems. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can be a healing spirit and a great man for a woman if she allows me to. Some may call it controlling. Some may call it, manipulative, or whatever you may want to call it. But it's up to you how you take it. One thing one person once told me, and you probably heard this before too, but this is just something that comes to mind. There's always two sides of the story and then the truth. Now, both sides of the story can have some truths in it. But there's going to be some bends, there's going to be some twists, there's going to be some lies. Another thing, back to struggling. If you struggle in relationships, I only got 3 more minutes. If you struggle in relationship, if you struggle financially, I know I do. I can't say for nothing. If you struggle, that just means you got to work on it a little bit more. You might need to cut that person out of your life. You may need to leave even though you don't want to leave. But you have to. For the better sake of you. Getting back to you. This isn't about me. This isn't about my baby mama. This isn't about my son. This isn't truly. This is for you. This is for you. And as my dad comes out, I got to go a little over here so you don't intervene in my podcast. So, with that being said, struggling is a part of life. You won't struggle forever. You won't always be down. You'll find ways to get up. No matter what. Just appreciate you. Appreciate what you've been through. The good, the bad. The love, the hate. Just find gratitude in you. Oh, so you're not the prettiest girl in the world. So what? So what? You have a beautiful heart. You just have a mind that needs to be changed. Slowly. I just want to thank anyone that just pressed play today or listened live. I will be definitely doing this more. I'm a little rusty, so forgive me. But this is the M-Bar Show. And we got 1 more minute. 1 more minute. What am I going to talk about for 1 more minute? Problems sometimes takes a lot of time to solve them. I've never been my best because a lot of the people from my past got the best of me. A little poem, you see? Nah. Everything's going to be all right. Just understand that struggling is always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be a struggle. God bless you. Don't ever lose faith. And never give up on love. Because love will find you when you least expect it. Have a good night. M-Bar checking out.